Okay. Good evening, Madam Clerk.
Okay, we are up to the swearing in.
Okay, so we're going to go right into it.
There's three of them.
Right?
You have one of these too, right?
You're doing it at the county. That's weird.
With the lieutenant and then the vice captain and the
So, imagine we're all here for this swearing in. We have three tonight, and the first is the lieutenant, with Sean Tucker, please come forward. Along with your guests. Step up, sir. Who's going to hold the Bible? None. Okay, hold that. Stay on that side of your dad. This side. You got to raise your right hand. All right? Hold it. Just like that. Raise your right hand, please. Repeat after me. I state your names.
I, Sean Tucker,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in the state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of
all the duties of
Fire Lieutenant
Fire Lieutenant
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations, sir.
Just need your name, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Sir,
we're gonna take a
sir.
break after this one.
Is it good? Sir. Shake her hand. Congratulations to you.
Congratulations.
Michael Martinelli, please step forward.
No. It's up to us.
And on that, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, that I will bear safe and healthy and finish up and have a wonderful career here at Hackensack. And look forward to seeing you guys at the hospital. Chance to meet you a lot anyway. But best of luck to all of you. And this is, I don't know, it's probably definitely my last swearing in of firemen. But we've done quite a few over 30 years. Had quite a few. It's been an honor and a privilege to be your guys' mayor under these last 12 years. And the department's come a long way, and I'm sure it'll continue on. Congratulations to you guys, and I appreciate it. Yep. So, anybody from the council have any words?
Thank you for your continued support. We really appreciate it. I've not only been in there a year, but you guys have been extraordinarily supportive, and we appreciate it.
Our pleasure. That's what we do. But with that, if you guys want to do some pictures, we'll take like a 5-minute recess. If you want to take some pictures amongst each other or with family, feel free. And then we're going to continue with business. All right? Come on. Yep. And Chief, you want to say a few words to the guys? Yeah, We did our fire department promotions. So going to bring up Jim Mangan for a budget presentation, or budget introduction. Where'd Jerry? Oh, sorry. Hold up, Jerry's not back. All right, Jim.
Okay, thanks, Mayor. So tonight during the business portion, we'll be introducing the 2025 municipal budget. First, I just want to do a little housekeeping on the budget. We'll be introducing the budget tonight, and as we've done in the past, at the next council meeting, I'll be doing the formal budget presentation, the PowerPoint presentation.
Right.
And then at the subsequent meeting, at the June 20th meeting, we'll have the public hearing and the adoption. Okay, the reason being that you have to put there has to be at least 28 days between the introduction and the public hearing. So that's why we do the budget presentation at that meeting in between. Okay, a little bit about the budget itself. This year's budget is $132,391,327, which is a spending increase of $1.8 million, or a spending increase of 1.3%. Okay? Of that $1.8 million spending increase, the increase to the tax levy is only $700,000, which is a 0.7% increase to the levy. This year's budget was a challenge. I know it's something that we say every year. Every year, the budget is a challenge. The usual suspects, health benefits were up again, not as much as they were last year. Last year was a killer, but they were up significantly, 12.6%. Not as high as last year when they were up 32%. Interesting article in the Bergen Record today about health benefits in local government statewide. Says that they've been up 60% statewide since 2022.
Wow.
And I checked, and our health benefits are up 60% since 2022. So we're right in line with the rest of the state. This year we had other challenges. You know, in addition to health benefit increases, we had a large increase in pension of about $450,000. We had a loss of state aid of about $450,000, and this year we had a loss of state aid, and also the American Rescue Plan revenue expired 12/31/24, so we lost that. Okay, I'll get into more details of the budget itself at the budget presentation, but just know that the increase to the levy, 0.7%, translates to, on the average home, an increase of about $109 on the municipal part of the budget for the average home. Now, I just want to make sure that everybody's clear on something. Okay, the tax increase this year will be high. It will be a large tax increase. When the tax bills go out, and they go out at the end of next month, okay, on the average home, the municipal increase will be $109. The school increase is going to be about $270. The school tax levy is up about 4.3%. The municipal levy is up 0.7%. Okay, I'll have more to say about that during the budget presentation. Okay, but just want to make sure that everybody's aware of that, because tax bills will be out in about a little more than 4 weeks from now. Okay, what I wanted to do tonight was, in terms of the budget, was just show everybody that where you can access the budget. The budget's on the city website, and you'll see that's the city website that's up on the screen. And if anybody wanted to see the budget, okay, and the budget's there now, you go to the city website, you go to departments, you go down to finance, and you pull up the finance page, okay? Scroll to the bottom of the finance page, and you'll see the finance documents. Go down to the budget, and you'll see the 2025 budget. And that brings up the 2025 budget itself, okay? And when in the budget, okay, I just want to show you a couple of things that we've talked about in the budget, but people may not be aware of. The budget itself is broken up into two sections. There's the appropriation section, which is the spending, and then there's the revenue section of where the money comes from. And then there's a couple other miscellaneous sections, like the cap calculations showing that the budget is under the spending cap, and the levy cap calculation showing that it's under the 2% levy cap. Okay, but I just want to show you this is what the budget looks like. And let me just skip over some of these preliminary pages that the state requires. Okay, the budget message, this is the spending cap calculation shown on sheet 3B. Okay, continues on. This is the levy cap calculation, which is shown on sheet 3. Okay, moving on, okay. Then he goes into the revenue section, but I'm going to skip revenue for a second. Just want to jump up to the appropriations. Okay, appropriations start on sheet 12. Okay, all right. Now, this is the appropriations section. Now, the budget's broken down by department. Each department, the budget is broken down into two areas: salaries and wages and other expenses. You'll see the amount for 2025 that's budgeted. You can see the amount that was budgeted for 2024. You can see the amount that was spent in 2024 under the paid or charged, and the amount that's reserved. Remember, a budget lasts for 2 years. So the 2024 budget will lapse the end of this year. So what's in the reserve, this is what was in the reserve as of 12/31/24, which will lapse into surplus at the end of this year. So you skip through, these are all of the appropriations. You go through general government, into land use, insurance, public works, public safety, health, and then we get into our utilities, recreation, then we have our miscellaneous sections, unclassified, just skipping on. Okay, then we get into our statutory, which is pension, Social Security, unemployment. Okay. Then we have our outside cap expenditures, which are things like our sewer disposal, the library, tax appeal refunds. Okay. And then we get into our shared service agreements, followed by grants, capital, debt, and I'm skipping ahead deliberately because I want to get to the summary page. Okay. And finally, the sheet 30 is the summary page. And you can see at the bottom, that the total budget is $132,391,000. Okay? That is the amount of spending. The budget is your authorization to spend. Okay? Now, I'm going to jump back to the revenue section that I skipped over before, which starts on sheet 4. Okay. And starts with our surplus, okay, which is $6.7 million. Into our local revenue. Okay, followed by state aid, and you can see state aid, there's a decrease of $448,000 because the municipal relief fund is expired. And we get going along, we have our followed by grants, and just remember on grants, most grants come in after the budget's adopted. We amend the budget to include them. So the fact that there aren't a lot of grants, that's normal. Okay. Then we have our miscellaneous items of revenue. Okay, and these all have to be approved by the state. These are all non-tax revenue items. And just about every single one of these has come about in the last 10 years. This is one of the areas that we focused on. If you look at them, you'll see there's probably about 5 or 6 of them that come from the hospital alone. Okay? That's followed by the pilot section. And we've talked about this a lot. Now, we keep pilots separate from everything else. So the pilots are identified on sheet 10, and you'll see they're identified by the address. You'll see the amount that we anticipated in the budget in 2025, the amount that we anticipated in 2024, and the amount that actually came in 2024. Now, it's important to understand that what we anticipate is not what's going to come in. We're going to realize more than what we anticipate. That always happens. Okay. For example, the first pilot is Meridian Metro. That's the one at 100 State Street. Okay. We anticipated last year 572,000, but we actually took in 611,000. So this year we're going to anticipate 611,000 because the state says we can't anticipate more than we took in last year. Are we gonna take in 611,000? No, we're gonna take in more than that. But we can only put the 611,000 in. All right? But here, if anybody wanted to look, you can see all of the pilots that we have. Okay? They go beyond sheet 10 and onto the next sheet. Okay? Following that, we then have the summary revenue page, which just lists all the revenues that were shown. And you'll see you have your non-tax revenue of about 37 million, the tax levy, which is 92,101,000, an increase over last year of $700,000 or 0.7%. Add the non-tax revenue to the tax levy, and you have where'd my budget go?
I was gonna say.
What happened, Frank?
I hit something. There we go. Okay. All right. So you add the non-tax revenue together with the tax levy, and I lost it again. What am I hitting, Frank? What am I, right-clicking? Now I'm printing? I'm so old. Oh, I am old. All right, thanks. Okay, so you'll see on the bottom, add the non-tax revenue to the tax levy, and you've got the $132 million that appropriated, and the budget is in balance, okay? So again, this is on the city website for anybody to see. Copies of the budget are also available in the clerk's office, and like I said, at the next meeting, I'll get into the budget in a lot more detail when we do the PowerPoint presentation. Okay? If anybody has any questions, be happy to answer them.
Good job, Jimmy. Thank you.
Good job as always. We know it was a tough one, and
Yeah.
I know, you talked about 109 the average home from the city side, but in addition, that's 0.7%, so it's less than 1%. And $270 on an average home from the school, which is, I think you said about a 4% increase.
About 4.5.
About
Yeah, I
4.5.
meant to say also that on the average home, tax bill's going out next month, the average tax bill will be about $420.
Increase.
109 municipal, 270 something on the schools, and then the balance is the county.
And the library.
And the library,
You
correct.
say 420?
For $421, yes. Okay, and I'll have details on that at the presentation. Okay?
I mean, to get the 4.2 from the schools increase, did they have to get special approval for it to be that high?
Their budget, the inside, the cap portion of their budget was at 2% by regulation.
Oh, so this
okay?
is all outside cap
It's
stuff.
all outside cap.
That we
you know,
still have to pay
raise.
for. Okay.
If their inside cap budget exceeds 2%, it has to go to the
referendum.
voters.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right?
And the average home was around
321,000.
Okay, just
The
so
average
folks know.
home this year was 321,000, which is just a slight increase from last year. Last year, the average home was about 320,800, something like that.
And that's because we haven't really done a reassessment.
That's right.
Okay.
So it's an average of about $36 a month.
On a $320,000 home.
Okay. All right.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks.
And we
Thank you,
look
Jim.
forward to next time we hear all the gory details.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Any
Thank you,
questions
Jim.
from the people?
Okay. Ally, you're up.
Okay, next up is DeWolf Place residential parking study. So, as requested by the residents and the council, the traffic department conducted a residential parking study for DeWolf Place overnight. They found very limited parking overnight with a reoccurring presence of out-of-state plates and vehicles occupying spaces for extended periods of time. So tonight on the agenda is the introduction of an ordinance to add residential parking on DeWolf from 2 a.m. to 6 p.m. And since we don't want cars to then park park on adjacent streets. We are also doing Stanley, Berry, Haynes, and Second Street with the same times, 2 a.m. to 6 a.m.
Are we notifying those homeowners on those
Yep,
streets?
traffic will be sending out or hand delivering the memo.
So when is that, that has to be done by ordinance, correct?
Yep.
So that'll give them time for people to come and, who may have a different opinion on this.
Yeah, we'll have the public hearing at the next meeting,
All right.
and then it'll be adopted.
Okay, number 4.
Number 4, we have the Garden State CPACE program, municipality opt-in ordinance. Steve, if you want to say a few words on it.
On the CPACE?
CPACE, yeah.
Yeah, so the CPACE ordinance is, sorry, is this not on? There we go. The CPACE ordinance arises out of a new state law that deals with the ability to obtain certain financing in a manner that effectively the financing is billed through the city, and so they can use the city's tax collection mechanisms to ensure that that the money is repaid to the city, sort of like property taxes. So if you're a lender, it's you know that you're going to be repaid, because if you're not repaid, then the city can then it's like you're not paying your property taxes. So it provides additional security for certain projects that qualify for the CPACE program. So this is something that came out of Trenton and through the New Jersey Economic Development Authority. Apparently, it has been used around the country and has been successful in allowing for projects that might be more difficult to finance to use this mechanism to get the funds needed for construction, and for lenders to feel that there's adequate security for that. So the state has been pushing municipalities very hard to adopt this ordinance. And so, it was reviewed, and it felt that it might be a tool that would be worthwhile, that, might encourage more homes, more affordable homes within the city, and projects of that nature.
And if I may add, Steve, I think a lot of the qualifications have to do with an environmental.
Yes.
Where these homes that are being built must prove that they are doing things like water efficiency, renewable energy, strengthening buildings against natural, I can get it out, disasters. So it's a way that we can encourage the environmental things to be, capabilities to be built into the development by affording them a way to go, as the EDA approves us financially, to help assist those things. And these are all very important things, as we see in new construction, in reconstruction, that we look forward to the future in all that we do.
Yep. And again, it's providing additional security for those improvements for new, and it can be used for existing projects as well. But you would expect, they're going to build a better project if they have
Absolutely.
the
Right.
funding available, to do things. I guess you could do solar panels. Maybe you weren't
Yes.
going to do solar panels before. And so, this, you might say, all right, we'll do that now. Or you might have, a more efficient heating system, or air conditioning, or HVAC.
Correct.
So, it helps for that as well.
So Steve, it says commercial property and certain other types of property.
It can include multifamily residential real property.
Multifamily only, no single family.
Yeah, yes, I
homes.
do not believe, I think there are other mechanisms if you're a single
Uh-huh.
family owner that you can
Yeah, I
access
just didn't know
various
whether this
tax credits
qualified.
for things like solar. But this is designed on a more industrial scale, again, because in the end, if you, you receive this financing, you have to pay it back, or the same mechanisms that the city would use for uncollected assessments. If you don't pay your water and you don't pay your sewer, then the city has certain rights to, come after you, and certain very powerful
Put
tools.
liens on your property,
Yeah.
put liens on your property. And I think it's important for everyone to realize too, that this comes at no cost to the city. So there's.
I think we actually get a fee. I think we actually get a.
It is
Well, for
reg-
processing.
there is
I
reg-
mean, you have to
processing
realize
fee.
we'll be processing, so for doing that effort of having them processed, yes, there'll be a small fee. But basically, there's no investment here by the city. This is just, again, to encourage building in an environmentally, a proactive way, based on especially what we've seen, climate changes and things in our environment here. It's important that we look forward to do those things, so.
Okay. Number 5.
It's Chris, right?
Number 5 is
It's
Chris's
Chris.
presentation.
Hey,
Good evening,
Chris.
Mayor, Deputy Mayor, council members. Here to talk about our construction projects. Couple of updates. Funny, I thought they were going to be in blue at the bottom, just I added our paving projects to our list here. So we're in detailed design for those projects that were funded earlier this year. And so those are in design and should be advancing to bid into the summer. An overview of our CSO separation projects. Again, we've completed everything on this list up till Anderson Street. We are just finishing that project. And the next projects are going to be the west of rail contracts shown in light blue. Those will be done in 2 phases and will take the city over 100 acres of stormwater being diverted from the sewer system. Anderson's, okay, I guess this is the next one. Okay, so again, so the upcoming project is in review right now with New Jersey DEP, and we are anticipating that we will receive an approval from DEP for the contracts, and that the first contract will be bidding later this summer. And just a reminder that this is the first sewer separation project for the city that includes green infrastructure. So there will be some tree filters installed at different locations as appropriate according to site-specific conditions through the project area. And on the Anderson Street project, took me by surprise for a second because it's just showing paved streets. And so we're done essentially with the Anderson project. There are some punch list items. There are a few driveways that need to be corrected and a little bit of some pump routing from people's homes. But for the large part, this project is complete, and we're just finishing up site restoration and contract closeout. And there will be a maintenance bond for the project for a year to follow up with anything else that may need correction. Make sure the grass is growing and so forth. Another project the city is implementing is the Green Street Hazard Mitigation Project, HMGP, which is administered through the State Office of Emergency Management. Even though it's from FEMA, it's not affected like some of the BRIC grants that you've heard about being rescinded through the state. This project has already been awarded and is not subject to any sort of retraction or withdrawal. So it's a $40 million grant for the Green Street area shown on the right there, and we have approached OEM about the possible addition of the South Newman Street area, which is under review right now. But the $40 million is for the area shown on the right. And it's a bit of a process. We are currently through the green boxes. We're still working on property acquisition, and we're still getting ready to present a proposal for the detailed design and the permitting that will be required from New Jersey DEP for this project. And so you'll be hearing about that at the in the next month or so. Into our parks projects, we are actively engaged in the submittal process and initial construction startup meetings with both contractors, one for the field house contract and the other for the site and utility contract and site improvements. And so construction will start on site next month, and we are working through, just making sure the schedules are coordinated, and we're really, we're going full pace now with the submittals from the contractors and coordination. So those meetings are happening routinely. Also in parks, we're getting ready to award the Fashini Park Fields 8, 9, and 10, also called Fashini Phase 1. And we did receive Green Acres funding for this project, so we will be adding, be able to include the sports lighting with the project. The bids did come in higher. There's been a lot of flux in the market of late. The bids came in a little bit higher than anticipated, but the plan scope is as shown. For roads and traffic, we are just kicking off with the Lot A parking improvements. This was delayed somewhat due to weather in the last week and so, but we are getting ready to resurface the Lot A parking lot and make some ADA, American with Disabilities Act accessible curbs and ramps and sidewalks, to the garage and the parking lot as well. So, so that's just getting started. In roads and traffic, we also completed the installation of the speed humps and signage on Kaplan Ave. And I'm not sure if anybody's here from Kaplan today, but we believe this has had some effect, but we haven't heard anything formal from the residents in the area. And as I mentioned, we're just getting going on the 2025 paving program. As Jim as our CFO has mentioned in prior meetings, there are 3 contracts that will be coming out according to the funding source. The first is the local aid from New Jersey DOT, doing Kennedy Street from Hudson to East Wesley. And then we have city-funded projects, and as well as CDBG or the Bergen Community Development Block Grants funded projects. And each of these contracts has an alternate at the end in case the bids come in favorably, that we can award those alternates and include them in the project. And just a reminder that again, we do frequently apply for grants and utilize grants. The city has been quite effective and eligible for grant funding for various purposes. And the next significant one is a number of state aid programs, including municipal aid, transit village, bikeways, and safe streets for all through the New Jersey Department of Transportation. So that deadline is coming up July 1st. Keep that in mind for any projects that may wish to be sponsored. And that concludes my presentation. And just a reminder, take care of your sewers, keep the wipes out of the sewers, and help us keep the system maintained and free of debris that causes flooding conditions when the sewers get blocked up that way.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Any questions from the council?
No.
So on behalf of the council, we know you're leaving us Friday, I believe. So we thank you for your service to the city over the last, how many years are you here now?
Just 2.5.
2.5, but over the last 2.5 years, we've accomplished a lot, especially sewer-wise, and we thank you for all your work on that, and we wish you best of luck. I don't know where you're going, but wish you the best of luck wherever that is.
Thank you very much,
Thanks.
Mayor.
Thanks,
It's
Chris.
been a privilege to work with you all.
Thank you, Chris.
Take
Thank
care.
you. Thanks, Chris.
Chris?
All right. What else you got, Ally?
That's all.
That's it?
Yep.
With that, I need a motion to open to the public, please.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Anybody from the public who'd like to speak at this session, please come forward, give your name to the clerk. You will have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Marty Smith, Prospect Avenue. I'm a member of the Hackensack Condo Co-op Advisory Board. I'd like to thank the council for completing the safety project on Prospect Avenue at the intersections of Berry Street and Golf Place with the installation of the new illuminated traffic safety devices, crosswalks. I know this will make these intersections safer for pedestrians, particularly during the hours of darkness. So thank you for completing that project. Also, I'd like to thank you for the installation of a new no U-turn sign on Anderson Street, just east of the railroad crossing. So now we have signs for both directions on Anderson. And if our drivers in Hackensack can learn to read signs, we will have a safer Anderson Street through the commercial area. And in regard to Anderson Street, I'd like to mention one other item that I think needs to be addressed, and that is the intersection of Anderson Street and Union Street. At that location, Anderson Street has a curvature to it, and there are two problems that exist here. Left turns from westbound traffic turning left onto Union have a little more difficult time making that turn because of the configuration of the intersection. And secondly, there are two bus stops at that location, one on the north side of Anderson Street and one on the south side. We suggest that crosswalks be installed on Anderson Street, one on the east side of Union and one on the west side of Union, so that pedestrians in general and pedestrians in particular who are boarding buses and exiting buses at those locations can cross more safely. So thank you for all your work in traffic safety, and I look forward to continuing the work on traffic safety for the city in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Thank you for all your hard work. Next person, please.
Good evening. Good evening to the council, Mr. Kleinman, Allison, and Debbie. I would first like to just give you some feedback from the superintendent of my building. He downloaded the app, the Recycle Coach app that's on the website, and he wanted me to tell you that he loves this app. It's just so helpful to him in so many ways. And he especially likes the alerts. The alerts alert him to special pickup days, regular pickup days, schedule changes,
Holidays,
recycling information, disposal information. As you can imagine, in a building of 69 units, all sorts of things get thrown down a garbage chute. So all of the information that's on the app, he said, is so helpful, which is kind of nice to hear. I thought you might like to hear that feedback from someone who deals with the trash and the recycling every day. We also informed our residents about the app, hoping that they would download it, even though we have everything in writing. I don't know if they did that. And I shared the information with the rest of the advisory board to share with their building superintendents. So it's real, he wanted me to say, please tell them I love this app. So I'm telling you,
Tell them thank
this
you.
app, okay? But secondly, on a more serious note, as you know, the Condo Co-op Advisory Board was created by the city to initiate a means of communication between the city and the residents of multi-unit dwellings. It's been extremely successful in its mission, creating the necessary exchange of ideas. It has led to meaningful improvement of many quality of life and safety issues, etc., affecting all city residents. As the chairperson of the Condo Co-op Advisory Board and on behalf of the board, I would like to extend a sincere thank you to the council, Mr. Caruso, Debbie, and Allison for all of your support over the years, which has allowed us to accomplish the many projects which are in keeping with our mission statement and are beneficial to residents. With your support, we were able to install a traffic light at the corner of Beach and Prospect, which used to be a four-way stop sign, as you well know. It took 2 years, but with your support, we did it. Promoting the placement of a drug drop-off box in the police station, preventing the use of a toxic medical waste sterilizer at the Prospect Heights Care Center. The medical waste was slated to go into the city sewers. Recommending benches, installing benches at all the bus stops on Prospect Avenue, which not only help the commuters, but are just really nice for residents to be able to have a place to sit. Also, a huge thank you to Al Dibb, because he made that happen with NJ Transit. We're currently working with the city manager about the dim lighting public service on Prospect, okay? And 12 years ago, your support aided in preventing the construction of an 18-story LTAC on Prospect and Summit. We thank you for that support. We also thank Leo for being our advisory board liaison. You've attended our meetings and you've been very helpful, and we thank you for that. Deputy Mayor, we would like to thank you for your tireless work on the TANIC committee to change the Teterboro flight path. The path was changed. Thank you. We're still committed to working on the flight path. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Annette.
Anyone else from the public like to speak? Seeing no members from the public, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Oh, aye.
Oh, aye.
Excuse me.
None opposed. All right, so I need a motion to close the executive session.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Motion to close the council of the whole.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh,
I guess the
Steve?
Yeah, I'm trying to think, yeah. As per usual, we did discuss several cases in closed executive session. The cases we discussed in any depth whatsoever were 2 workers' compensation cases, Luther and Kubler, and a civil litigation call.
Okay, thank you. Motion to close the council of the whole.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. So we will be back in about 10 minutes. All right? And then we'll start the new business next meeting.
0-0.
This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, NJSA 10:4-6 et sec, notice of which was sent to the record in the Star Ledger and was posted on the municipal bulletin board.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Here.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Here.
Councilmember Carroll.
Here.
Mayor LaBrus.
Here. Okay, would everybody please rise for the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for that. Okay, so we do have proclamations tonight, and as you can see, we have some of our young people here to celebrate a special occasion. First, I'm going to start with the Hackensack High School rowing team, the club. Okay. A little history on this. So a little history on the club. Yeah, that's great, guys. Come on up here. That's a great idea. Line up here. So this young lady right here and her daughter are my next door neighbors. This is Myrna and Kira Guttrell. All right, they've lived next to me for how long? 30 some odd years. So Myrna came to me years ago about starting a club crew team in Hackensack, which I thought was an excellent idea. And who would have ever thought we'd have a club crew team in Hackensack in the first place? But now we do, and as you can see, it's very active, and it's doing very, very, very well, thanks to you and your lovely daughter. And I want to congratulate you for all this hard work you put into this through the years. I know how much work. I see you gone all the time. She's all over bringing these kids all over the place, and she deserves a round of applause for what she's done for the youth in Hackensack. So thank you for that. So this year they had an exceptional year. So I have some certificates. We're honoring 4 students tonight, and then we have a proclamation basically for the whole team. So I'm going to start with Nicholas. If you'd come up here, please. How we doing, Nicholas?
Good, good.
Good. You nervous?
Yes.
That's okay. Don't be nervous. We don't bite. So Nicholas Castellanos is a freshman. He entered the sport this year and quickly distinguished himself, motivated by his sister, who lives with cystic fibrosis. Nicholas dedicated his efforts to her and found early success, winning at the 5th Manny Flix Regatta, earning a bronze medal at the Garden State Championships in the men's novice double. He aspires to serve his community as a firefighter and a paramedic. So congratulations to you. And he gets a certificate, which is from the mayor and the city council of the city of Hackensack, extending our congratulations to you and the Hackensack High School rowing team. All right, bronze medal. Very good. Congratulations. Thank you. Next up, we have Sebastian Edmonds. You don't look nervous. He's good. So Sebastian Edmonds is a senior, 4-year veteran of the team. He has exemplified steady growth and perseverance, moving from a squad to a single. He earned silver medals at both the Garden State and City Championships and previously qualified for Scholastic Nationals. He will continue his journey at Dominican University, majoring in pre-physical therapy. So congratulations. And again, a certificate for Sebastian. All right? Best of luck to you. Keep rowing, bro. Jonathan Lopez Racinios. So this one's a little special. So Jonathan Lopez Racinios, a junior and 3-year team member, transitioned to the single this year and experienced his most successful season yet. He earned a silver medal at the PSRA City Championships and won gold at the Garden State Championships, becoming a state champion. Jonathan credits his coaches, teammates, and especially his mother, his greatest supporter, for helping him stay focused and motivated. So congratulations to you. And to be a state champion is not an easy task in any sport, folks, so congratulations. Best of luck to you. There you go. Thank you. So, it's all good stuff. And we have another young man who would be celebrating tonight, but he is not here. I'll read his bio real quick. So, Josiah Rodriguez is a sophomore. Embraced rowing as both a challenge and an opportunity. In his first year of competition, Josiah earned a bronze medal at the Garden State Championships and has his sights set on collegiate and high-performance level rowing. Off the water, he is equally driven by his passion for entrepreneurship and creative problem solving. So kudos to him. And Myrna, you'll see that he gets this. Thank you. So now read the proclamation from the council to the rowing team, and it reads, whereas the Hackensack City Council takes great pride in recognizing the accomplishments of our community's youth, particularly those who demonstrate excellence, determination, and leadership in both academics and athletics. And whereas the Hackensack High School rowing team, led by head coach Myrna Guttrell and assistant coach Kira Guttrell, has grown into a powerful and inspiring program. And whereas founded in 2018 by Kira Guttrell, then a student and avid rower, the team began its journey with a Garden State Championship victory and has steadily built a legacy of commitment and competitiveness. Excuse me. Whereas these young athletes embody the spirit of Hackensack High School, working hard, lifting others, and striving for excellence in everything they do. And whereas today the crew is 15 rowers strong, closed out the 2025 season with a state championship, 1 gold medal, 2 silvers, and 1 bronze. And whereas this season's success was driven by the hard work and achievements of 4 standout students, Nicholas Castellanos, Josiah Rodriguez, Jonathan Lopez Racinos, and Sebastian Edmonds, now therefore I, John P. LaBrosse Jr., Mayor of the City of Hackensack, along with members of the City Council, do hereby congratulate the Hackensack High School row team for working hard, lifting others, and striving for excellence in everything they do. Also, congratulations to Nick, Josiah, Jonathan, and Sebastian, along with their coaches and teammates, for their extraordinary accomplishments in rowing and for representing Hackensack High School with integrity, resilience, and pride. So congratulations, guys. I've known her since she's a baby. I remember her brother, actually. We lost her brother one day. I was at a wrestling tournament with my son coming back, and I see like 50 people standing in my front yard. I'm like, what's going on? And your oldest was missing, along with Rocco Montesano. They were missing. We couldn't find them anywhere. Where were they? They got into the trunk of the car and closed the trunk, and it was like 80 degrees out. So we finally heard a noise, and able to get them out. But that was a scary day. Yeah, scary day. So congratulations to you guys. Yeah, yeah. So this is a feel-good story. You don't see things like this. You don't think of row teams in Hackensack, per se, but they got it done, and we're very proud of the work that went into this, and just shows if you put your mind to something, you can do anything you want. So keep that in mind when you're moving forward, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And I have a few more presentations, or proclamations, I should say. Are we reading all these, Deb? Okay. So I'm going to read these all in. And first one is, whereas the United States Congress, let me switch mics, has designated the month of May as National Military Appreciation Month on May 30th, 1999, and whereas Military Appreciation Month is intended to honor and recognize the contributions and sacrifices made by past and present military personnel in the Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, Space Force, Coast Guard, and National Guard, in addition to their spouses and families. And whereas on this month and throughout the year, we express our gratitude and commitment to service members, veterans, and those who gave the ultimate sacrifice in defense of our freedom. In recognition of these contributions, we reaffirm our commitment to encourage support, welcome, and celebrate their accomplishments. Now therefore, I, John P. LaBrosse Jr., Mayor of the City of Hackensack, along with members of the council, do hereby proclaim this month of May Military Appreciation Month, which affords us the opportunity to reach out to our veterans and extend our sincere thank you or well done for the selfless dedication and service which they have provided to our country. Next one is, whereas May 17th, 2025 is the 15th anniversary of Kids to Parks Day, organized and launched by the National Park Trust, held annually on the third Saturday of May. And whereas Kids to Park Day empowers kids and encourages families to get outdoors and visit local parks, public lands, and waters. And whereas we should encourage children to lead a more active lifestyle to combat the issues of childhood obesity, diabetes, hypertension, and high cholesterol. And whereas Kids to Parks Day will broaden children's appreciation for nature and the outdoors, and whereas Kids to Park Day will recognize the importance of recreating responsibility while enjoying the benefits of the outdoors. Now therefore be it resolved that I, John P. LaBrosse Jr., Mayor of the City of Hackensack, along with the City Council, do hereby proclaim Kids to Parks Day, which we urge residents of Hackensack to make time in May to take their children to a park, which is very important. Next up, whereas frontline workers are the builders of our community, exercising curiosity, compassion, courage, and creativity to provide essential services and ensure the safety, health, and education of our residents. And whereas over 9 million healthcare workers across the United States serve in hospitals, clinics, and long-term care facilities, often placing themselves at risk to provide life-saving care. And whereas firefighters respond to an estimated 36 million emergency calls each year, over 800,000 sworn law enforcement officers nationwide work tirelessly to uphold the law and ensure public safety, and emergency medical services personnel respond to more than 240 million calls annually. And whereas teachers dedicate their careers to shaping the future of our communities, with over 3.7 million educators in the U.S. providing knowledge and guidance to our youth. And whereas frontline workers embody the essence of builders, flexible thinkers, and constructive problem solvers who respect the dignity of all people by dedicating themselves to overcoming challenges and uniting communities. Now, therefore, I, John P. LaBrosse Jr., Mayor of the City of Hackensack, along with the City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of May as Frontline Worker Appreciation Month in the City of Hackensack, and encourage all residents to join in recognizing and honor the heroic contributions of our healthcare workers, firefighters, law enforcement officers, EMS personnel, and teachers. And last but not least, whereas the office of the municipal clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world, and whereas office of the municipal clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas office of the municipal clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies, and agencies of government at other levels. And whereas municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all. And whereas the municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community. And whereas municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the municipal clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations. And whereas in honor of Municipal Clerks Week, May 4th through May 10th, 2025, the City Council of the City of Hackensack wishes to recognize its municipal clerk and her staff for the vital services of exemplary dedication to the community. Now, therefore, I, John P. LaBrosse Jr., Mayor of the City of Hackensack, along with members of the City Council, do hereby recognize the importance of the role and functions of the clerk's office and the impact it has on the public, and salute our municipal clerk, Deborah Carlson, Deputy Clerk Allison Sabai, support staff Della DiStefano, Taylor O'Brien, and Caitlin Green for their dedication and commitment to the City of Hackensack and its local government. So thank you. Congratulations to you guys. They do there's a lot of behind-the-scenes work that goes on in this city, believe me, especially with Oprah requests and all the different things you have to go over every day. Elections, for one, you guys work long. They're starting at 4:30 in the morning on election day, getting ready for an election. So kudos to you guys, and thanks for all you've done through the years. We appreciate it. Thank you.
For the cake and the cookies.
Yes.
Invite invite the team to take a picture.
Yes, so the road team, if you guys, the crew team, if you guys want to come up front, we'll get a couple pictures real quick before we move forward. And then we'll take a
And the
break.
coaches, and the coaches.
Coaches too? Spread out across here, guys. Tall guys on the end.
Come on, come on, come on. Don't be shy. Congratulations to everyone.
Yeah, nice shirts too.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
guys look great.
So spread it out a little
Yeah,
way
go
this way,
Go
guys.
this way, yep.
Yep. There we go. Where's Kira?
Gotta get in the picture, come on,
Myrna-
congratulations,
Myrna and Kira, why don't you
coaches.
get in the
Yes.
middle?
Good job.
Don't worry about it. That's it.
That's it, make room for your coach, there you go.
Fine.
Thank you for all you do, thank you.
Need some, there we go, here comes the paparazzi. You're welcome. Okay, guys, thank you, appreciate it. So we're gonna take a,
Thank you for all you're doing for everyone.
Thank you.
you're welcome. We can take like a 2-minute break, so you guys, from the crew team, they can go, there's no reason to stay for the whole meeting. So we'll wait 2 minutes while you guys file out. Executive Cowan regular meeting. Was everyone here, Deb?
Yes.
Everyone was here? Need a motion?
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Okay. And now we go over to Ally for the manager's report.
Yep. Hackensack's annual Memorial Day wreath ceremony will be held May 26th at 10 a.m. in Veterans Park. Hackensack will be hosting a town-wide shred event Saturday, June 28th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. in Johnson Park. The splash pads will be opening on May 24th for weekends from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. until June 21st, when they will be open 7 days per week. Hackensack's summer events at Atlantic Street Park are back soon with Shakespeare in the Park, movies in the park, yoga, and Friday night concerts. Also Tuesday night concerts on the green. More information will be posted this week. The city will be celebrating Juneteenth on Sunday, June 22nd from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. in Carver Park. There will be a pickleball tournament, giveaways, performances, live music, and more. Friday, May 30th at 3:30 p.m., the city will host its annual Pride flag raising ceremony at Atlantic Street Park. More details will be posted soon. New Jersey is requiring lead-safe inspections for rental units. Landlords with pre-1978 rental properties located in Hackensack are required to have inspections completed by July 22nd. Landlords can use any company of their choosing as long as the compliance is obtained. Please reach out to the building department with any questions. That's it.
That's it? Okay, moving on to new business.
No, we still have,
What else you have? Oh, I'm
the
sorry.
Main Street Alliance budget hearing.
Yep. So, you have it there? You're going to present it, John?
Well, I'm going to, since I certainly can't read it from here, I'll do the best I can, yes, sir. So mayors, deputy mayor, city council members, everybody else, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here again. As you recall, I was here about almost 8 weeks ago now, between 6 and 8 weeks ago, presented the budget in detail. for our 2025 budget. And while many of the costs stay the same, some went up a little bit. The biggest action that we took place this year as part of our 3-year strategy, which I'll cover. So our first-year strategy was to take care of all the clean and green efforts. We got the streets cleaned up. We changed the landscaping. We changed the sanitation company. And as part of the second-year plan, we continued those efforts, but we also made a big effort into getting much more closely connected with our member businesses that are on Main Street, the almost 300 businesses that are on Main Street. We generated hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of social media posts for them and views. We helped them with openings. We certainly saw quite a bit of new businesses coming in, and that was part of the second year. And then as far as the third year now, this is what we're calling the Year of the Resident. So not only our legacy residents, but the new residents, not only those, but our visitors, our employees, and everybody else that comes to Main Street, because we've been building a better Main Street for everybody. So our biggest increase this year, now that we're moving into this third year of the plan, is to hold very successful events based on the successes that we had with our other events, so that we can help generate a lot more foot traffic out on Main Street. And we added almost around $90,000 for extra events for 2025. That includes salsa socials on Vanta Place. It includes business districts efforts, business expos that we just held this last week, and a whole bunch of other efforts. So we based all that on the successes of our, especially of our Hackensack Oktoberfest event. The first year I got here, we held about 2,500 people attend. This past year, we had 4,500 people attend. So we are very confident in those efforts. We went through this in detail. We went out to our membership base to make sure that everybody was okay with that. We got only 3 responses saying that they weren't. So we're very confident in this moving forward, and I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody may have.
Okay. Steph, question?
No, we appreciate all your work.
Thank you.
All the events are great, and Oktoberfest really is, it's doubled in size, and it was a great event last year. And we hope it keeps continuing moving forward.
Thank you.
Again, thanks, John. Main Street never looked better. I mean, I think the change in some of the pickup and the cleaning up and the flowers look beautiful, and of course, all the events you do. And I think it was great that you guys were able to get buy-in for your budget from your all of your business owners, building owners, and I think that's the way democracy works, and I think it's great that they're with you 100%, and we wish you the best of luck this year.
Thank you.
You have a lot of new programs. I think the busking is going to be great. I think you got a lot of things that are going to bring life into the city once again, and we appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for your job, John. You're doing a good job.
Thank you, Councilman.
Yeah?
Just keep up the good work.
Thank you,
Great
sir.
job.
Thank you. And then you mentioned the busking, Deputy Mayor. It just got announced, and we're already getting plenty of people that want to come and play on the street. So Main Street is going to see music up and down, and we're going to make Hackensack sing.
Yep. So the busking, I've had multiple people reach out to me on it. Think it's a great idea. They love the concept of bringing that back. It's always been around, but it's making a huge comeback across the country and bringing out our local musicians to play on the streets and, you know, let people hear what they have. I think it's great. Eric, you got a winner here. Make sure you keep this guy going, all right? So we thank you for all you've done, Main Street Alliance, and John, especially all your hard work. The Oktoberfest was the best one ever, and the way we're tracking people and where they're coming from and everything is so important. And that's only going to get better and better and better. It's going to be one of the premier events in this county by the time over the next few years. So keep it going.
Thank you,
and
sir.
great work. Thank you.
Plus a lot of new business openings. You know, we've been to a lot of
Yeah.
ribbon cuttings lately, and even
Yep.
more that are right on the forefront.
And
so.
certainly the caliber of businesses that are coming is pretty distinguished. These aren't people who are just starting to getting to new businesses. This is their second, third, fourth, and fifth locations. So we're very excited about that.
And that's due to a lot of the hard work that you guys put into it, so we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mayor, you have to open it
Thanks.
up to the public.
Oh,
for a
I'm sorry.
public hearing.
With that, I need a motion to open to the public.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody from the public who'd like to get up and speak to this budget, and this budget only? Seeing no members of the public, motion to close.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Okay, thank you again from the Main Street Alliance. So it's just a hearing. We're not voting on anything here, right, are we?
I think it's in one of the resolutions tonight.
So it's in the
We're approving
resolution.
it tonight.
Yeah, it's
part of the
included in the
resolution.
resolution.
So, we can move on to new business?
Yes.
You ready? It's pretty thick.
I'm moving my piles, we're ready.
Yeah, no, mine's like a lot of paper. So, Resolution 223-25.
This is a resolution for the final adoption of ordinance number 18-2025, an ordinance to amend Chapter 170 of the Code of the City of Hackensack, Vehicles and Traffic, to add a new handicap parking space in Section 49.2, parking for the handicap. This ordinance has been published according to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Okay, need a motion to open to the public?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, none opposed. Anybody who'd like to speak to this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward. Seeing no members from the public, motion to close.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, none opposed. I need a motion to adopt this ordinance.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, none opposed.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 18-2025 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Resolution 224-25.
Sorry. This is a resolution for the final adoption of ordinance number 19-2025, an ordinance authorizing financial agreement with RHR Hackensack Urban Renewal LLC, an urban renewal entity authorized pursuant to the long-term exemption law NJSA 48:20-1 et sec, for the development of a mixed-use apartment project upon Block 405, Lot 3. This ordinance has been published according to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Need a motion to open to the public?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody from the public who'd like to speak to this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward. Please give your name to the clerk.
Cassine Gaines, good evening. So I just wanted to take a moment and just read a little bit of this for those who don't have the docket available to them. This is for the Sears property. This is a 6-story, approximately 300 market rate rental unit property. And a part of what is included in this is that this is a tax exemption. This is a tax exemption that is being granted for 30 years, which is in the docket. And this is a highly sought-after piece of property, the Sears property. Everyone who has driven by the Sears property over probably the last decade has earmarked in their head a good use for this property. Some people have said schools, some people have said parks, some people have said a number of things that are feasible and things that are not feasible, but this is a highly desirable piece of property in the city of Hackensack. And yet, 30 years tax exemption for this property. And that's not me saying it, that's in the docket. And so my concern about this is we have heard that you need some of these 30-year pilot agreements to kickstart things. We are 12 years into the LaBrosse administration, and we are still giving 30-year tax exemptions, saddling people almost until the year 2060 with a property that is not going to pay taxes, with a property that is not going to contribute a dime to our schools. I have so much and what they did, and I think that's fantastic. I think, however, it is hollow to celebrate our school children. I think it is hollow to emphasize several times, as the deputy mayor did, that the school portion of the tax bill is going up a little bit more than the municipal portion, when there are 22 properties that were listed today that took money that could be going to the school system and circumvented it, completely cut it out. But to point fingers at the school system and say that they're raising your taxes is completely false. It is a misrepresentation. You have strangled the school's budget through these tax exemptions. And so what I'm not quite understanding is why a highly desirable site like the Sears site is in need of a 30-year tax exemption. I'm not quite understanding that. The people of Hackensack have weighed in on this issue, and I'm not just talking about last week. The people of Hackensack have weighed in on this issue time and time again. However, we still get them. We are saddled with them. They are a burden. They make a contribution, but what is lost is so incredibly significant. It outweighs the contribution that they are bringing in. And if after 12 years you're saying this is the best deal that you could get, the maximum tax exemption, that's the best you can get, at some point you will wonder what happened last week. That's why. Because you still aren't listening to the people. You still aren't understanding that this is a burden. You might feel good about it, but it is in error. Thank you.
Next person, please.
Good evening. Andy Post, 319 Clinton Place. I'm just going to say I beg of you to reconsider the 30-year tax abatement. Even if you must do something, cut it down to 5, 7, 9, something like that, as opposed to the 30 years. I really want you to reconsider for the sake of the community and maybe a last nice gesture for the community. I please ask you to do that. Reconsider. Thank you.
Thank you. Next person, please.
Hi, Mayor Council. Mike Pembroke. I'd just like to comment on, to correct some of the statements that were made previously here. I mean, this project, as the city knows, is the culmination of 4 years of effort. This didn't happen last week, last year. This happened over a long period of time where there's a lot of work done by the city and by its professionals to really come to the culmination of what this project is now within Hackensack. The Sears site has been vacant for almost 5 years now, and we were awarded the project through an open bid process, nothing to do with the city. It was an open market process that we competed, and we were the successful purchasers of this site. This property right now currently throws off about $300,000 a year in taxes. Once our development is complete, it will throw off the first year $1.4 million in payments, pilot payments at our taxes. So to say that there's no taxes being no benefit to the city of taxes is not accurate. As a matter of fact, over the 30-year life of the pilot, this project will throw off $50 million more in revenue to the city than what would be projected as the project remains today. So, Russo Development, we have a lot invested in Hackensack. We believe in the future of Hackensack. We have invested significantly in the Print House project, which we are extremely proud of. We're partnered with the Aura, which is also another great project in Hackensack. Larry Russo started this company in Hackensack in 1969. We had our office on Hudson Street for 35 years. So we're here for a reason. We stretched further than we think anybody else would for this property and for the success of this project. And I just want and hope that everybody certainly keeps that in mind as we look forward here. Thank you.
Next person, please.
Good evening, Reverend Davis. I just want to say I hear a lot of talk about the future of Hackensack and investments. I'm not saying you're not. The misconception to me is the future of Hackensack depends on families and children. What we've seen, and I've been up here since about 2016, along with other members of the work group, it goes a long way back, where our primary issue was affordable housing, with fair housing. It is 9 years later, and we are still talking about the same thing, that there wasn't enough attention given to affordable housing. We all understand pilots and how you had to start pilots, but at some point, there should have been a stop and say, let's reconsider, let's relook this. We have 9, 10 right now, luxury apartments. Luxury apartments with millennials is not going to make the city grow. What's going to make a city grow is condos, homes for families who want to come to a city. That's what's going to make a city grow, not just luxury apartments where millennials will come in and they'll move out. And as far as the 30 years, part of what he just said may make a lot of money. I haven't heard anything yet that what's going to go to the education system. It goes to the city. It does not go to the schools. And the children, as you saw here tonight, are the future. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Blanche Candy Stewart. I am a member of the work group. I am also an appointed member of the Hackensack Housing Authority. Affordable housing. I've already been here before and stressed that the senior waiting list is over 1,000 people, but the family list cannot open because we can't. Their list is very extensive. When you, I guess, put forth the affordable housing COA, I don't know what it's called now, what you needed to create or provide to meet that requirement, you could have done that in those 30 some odd apartment complexes by asking them to put a certain percentage in there. We have families that are on a waiting list that cannot be open because we have no units. But you could have done that rather than use rooming homes, rooming houses, group homes, and parts of our senior buildings, which are already affordable housing for seniors. So, to the young man who came up about the development that is about to open, I know you've told us before that you can't ask them to do that, even though you're giving them 30-year pilots. I ask them now, please try to put a certain percentage of affordable housing units in there. Thank you.
Anyone else from the public? Seeing none, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion to adopt the ordinance.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor? Oh, wait, let's go roll call.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
No.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 19-2025 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Just want to say something real quick to that. Mr. Gaines, you had mentioned that we were choking the school budget. So when was the election for the school budget this year? There wasn't one, correct? Used to be in April, along with the Board of Ed? Right? But it's now in November, correct? So just wanted to make that clear. So whatever the school asked for its school budget, the city is obliged and is always given them that money. We don't stop the schools from getting their money, okay? I understand what you're saying. Oh, well, they get all this extra money if they got a certain percentage. Listen, you guys get $40+ million in state aid from the state, and that's a school project system through the state to help schools, correct? Pilots are the exact same thing for cities that are in trouble, that have blighted downtowns, that need to be redeveloped. That's what that was created for, the pilot system, all right? That's exactly what it's been used for, all right? And I know what you're saying.
Is it still blighted now?
There's areas that could be, absolutely. And I can guarantee you, if the Sears building wasn't developed, it would become blighted. But with that, I'm just saying, you have, the school system is separate, and this whole, and we announced from day one, this 165-acre tract of downtown was to be redeveloped. There was no affordable housing in it, but there was affordable housing coming from it. And that has now already started to be accomplished with 1 Essex Street, which will have 25 units right there. There's 60 units that are not built yet, but they're going up on State Street. That's a project that's already committed to it. 23 units on Railroad. I mean, we meet our obligations with fair share housing and don't even have a need to build to 2035, but we are building. So I know where you're coming from, but I respectfully disagree. The schools get whatever they ask for from the city, and always have since they've changed going out to vote for it. Next, Resolution 225-25.
This is a resolution for final adoption of ordinance 20-2025, a bond ordinance providing for streetscape improvements along Anderson Street by and in the city of Hackensack and the county of Bergen, state of New Jersey, appropriating $1,500,000 therefore, inclusive of a New Jersey Department of Transportation grant in the amount of $1,305,000 and authorizing the issuance of $1,500,000 in bonds or notes of the city to finance the cost thereof.
Need a motion, please.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. And I'm sorry, no. We're opening it to the public.
That was open to the
Yeah,
public.
open to the public.
I need a motion to open to the public.
You just did.
You just did.
Okay, so anybody from the public who'd like to speak to this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward. This is a bond ordinance for streetscape improvements along Anderson Street. Seeing no one from the public, motion to close.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. I need a motion to adopt this ordinance, please.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 None opposed.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 20-2025 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 226-25.
Say resolution and final adoption of ordinance number 22-2025, a bond ordinance providing for the acquisition and purchase of equipment for the Department of Public Works by and in the City of Hackensack and the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, appropriating $1,220,000 therefore and authorizing the issuance of $1,220,000 of bonds or notes to finance the cost thereof. This ordinance has been published according to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Need a motion to open to the public?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Anyone from the public who'd like to speak to this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward. Seeing no members of the public, motion to close.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Need a motion to adopt this ordinance.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed.
Be resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 22-2025 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 227-25.
This is a resolution for final adoption of ordinance number 23-2025, an ordinance to amend Chapter 170 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Vehicles and Traffic to add a loading zone on John Street. This ordinance has been published according to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Need a motion to open to the public.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Anyone from the public who'd like to speak to ordinance 23-2025, please come forward. Seeing no members of the public, motion to close.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
None opposed. Motion to adopt the ordinance.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed.
Be resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 23-2025 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Resolution 228-25.
This is a resolution for the final adoption of ordinance number 24-2025, an ordinance to amend and update Chapter 32 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Police Department to make revisions to the department table of organization. This ordinance has been published according to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Need a motion to open to the public?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Anyone from the public who'd like to speak to this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward. Seeing no members of the public, motion to close.
Offer.
Second.
I'm sorry.
All in
Need a
favor?
roll call. My bad.
This is just to close the public comment.
This was just a close.
Oh, sorry. Yes. All
So,
in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
okay, now
Need
you
a roll call.
Motion, now you need a
Need the
motion
motion.
to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Abstain.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New
Need a roll.
Jersey that ordinance number 24-2025 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Resolution 229-25.
This is a reintroduction of ordinance number 21-2025, a bond ordinance providing for various 2025 capital improvements and acquisitions by and in the city of Hackensack and the county of Bergen, state of New Jersey, appropriating $7,180,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $6,411,070 bonds or notes of the city to finance part of the cost thereof. Need a motion?
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed.
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 21-2025 is introduced, is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on June 3rd, 2025 at 8:00 p.m., or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be, and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law, with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 230-25.
This is a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 25-2025, an ordinance to amend Chapter 170 of the Code of the City of Hackensack, Vehicles and Traffic, to add Haynes Place, Berry Street, Stanley Place, Second Street, DeWolf Place as resident-only on-street parking areas overnight.
Okay, need a motion, please.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 None opposed. And just for the record, all the residents in the area that were just mentioned will be notified so that they're aware of this for the next meeting. All right?
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 25-2025, as introduced, is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on June 3rd at 8, is it June 2nd or June 3rd?
June 3rd.
It is June 3rd.
June 3rd.
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to make sure because, well, I have a typo in this. Held on June 3rd at 8:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 231-25.
This is a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 26-2025, an ordinance to amend Chapter 94 of the Code of the City of Hackensack, gardeners, landscapers, horticulturists, and those engaged in commercial snow removal business to add hang tag requirement.
Okay, need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 None opposed.
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 26-2025 is introduced, is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on June 3rd, 2025 at 8:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law, with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 232-25.
This is for the introduction of ordinance number 27-2025, an ordinance to repeal and replace Chapter 89 of the Code of the City of Hackensack flood hazard areas with a new Chapter 89 flood damage prevention to comply with updated standards and to adopt flood hazard maps to designate a floodplain administrator and providing for severability and an effective date.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unopposed.
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 27-2025 is introduced, is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on June 3rd, 2025 at 8:00 p.m., or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 233-25.
This is a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 28-2025, an ordinance to exceed the calendar year 2025 municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unopposed.
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 28-2025 is introduced, is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on June 3rd, 2025 at 8:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law with a notice of its introduction and passage and first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 234-25.
It's a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 29-2025, an ordinance fixing and determining municipal class, position, title, and salary ranges for certain contractual and non-contractual officers and employees of the city of Hackensack.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You think it should be stay because you're working? Employees of the city?
Steve? So is there a conflict because of Leo Jr. working here on this, or should he abstain? This is
Salary.
234-25.
Yeah, I would say anyone with a family member.
So let's go with a roll call.
Yes.
For, actually, it's going to be two of them. You two, Jerry.
Yeah, I mean, you can have three, you can pass the ordinance with three.
Yep.
Okay, so we have an intro of Deputy Mayor Canestrino, a second of Councilman Pataglia. We now need a roll call. Councilman.
Councilman Battaglia's
Yeah.
recusing itself, it should be.
Okay,
Abstain.
well, that
Yeah.
was, okay, so now we have a second of Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Yes, and now I need a roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Abstain.
Councilmember Carroll.
Stay.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 29-2025 is introduced, is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on June 3rd, 2025 at 8:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council. And at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 236,
235.
I'm sorry, 235-25.
It's a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 30-2025, an ordinance opting into the Garden State CPACE program to facilitate financing of CPACE projects.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unopposed?
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 30-2025 is introduced, is now passed on first reading, and the said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on June 3rd, 2025 at 8:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council. And at such time and place, all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law, with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 236-25.
This is a resolution appointing Christine Bakey as tax collector pursuant to NJSA 40A:9-142.
Thank you. Resolution
We
237.
need a motion.
No, we need a motion, sorry. I'm like,
There's a lot on
I'm
the
buried in
agenda tonight.
paperwork over here. Trying
Offer.
to,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, none opposed. Resolution 237-25.
A resolution authorizing a 2025 emergency temporary appropriation for the temporary budget.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, none opposed. Resolution 238-25.
Resolution authorizing refund of police unallocated cash.
Need a motion?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
You need a
Oh,
roll call.
I'm sorry, roll call, Jerry.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Abstain.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 239-25.
It's a resolution authoring award of contract to HQW Architects for the Johnson Park construction services.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, none opposed. Resolution 240-25.
It's a resolution awarding contract for engineering services for Anderson Street Streetscape Project, Janeglia Engineering.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Need a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, none opposed. Resolution 241-25.
It's a resolution for the governing body certification of compliance with the United States Equal Employment Opportunity Commission's enforcement guidance on the consideration of arrest and conviction records and employment decisions under the Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, none opposed. Resolution 242-25.
This is a resolution authorizing tax refunds for state board judgments. This was from the 5/6/20 meeting, 25 meeting.
Need a motion?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, none opposed. 243-25.
It's a resolution authorizing tax refunds for state board judgments, and this was for this meeting.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, none opposed. Resolution 244-25.
Hang on,
It's the Main Street Alliance.
yeah. Resolution adopting Main Street Business Alliance 2025 budget.
Need a motion?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, none opposed. Resolution 245-25.
It's a resolution authorizing tax appeal attorney to settle the cases that were scheduled for trial or settlement.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, none opposed. Resolution 246-25.
This is a resolution for authorization for accrued time payout of $20,638.06 to DPW retiree Ramon Vincente.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, none opposed. Resolution 247-25.
It's a resolution authorizing payment by the city to Virgil Ulysses pursuant to previous agreement and general release.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, none opposed. Resolution 248-25.
It's a resolution authorizing refund of prior year revenue.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Resolution 249-25.
This is a resolution authorizing deviation from annual surplus policy.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Hearing none. Resolution 250-25.
It's a resolution authorizing calendar year 2025 budget to be read by title only.
Need a motion?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Resolution 251-25.
Resolution authorizing the 2025 municipal budget introduction.
Need a motion?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? Resolution 252-25.
This is a resolution authorizing payment of bills from the previous meeting.
Need a roll call, please.
We need a motion first.
Need a motion.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll. Mayor LaBrus.
I abstain. Resolution 253-25.
This is a resolution authorizing payment of bills from the May 20th meeting.
Need a motion?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll. Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Does anybody have any conflicts on the consent agenda before we move forward? I know, Jerry, we got to pull 255-25 and 263-25.
Right.
Any other conflicts?
No.
Okay.
Hang on. 263, you said?
263
Okay.
and 255.
Okay. The following items are considered to be routine in nature and will be enacted in one motion. Any item requiring expenditure are supported by a certification of availability of funds. Any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda, and consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes, including any exceptions and/or additions. The consent agenda consists of Resolution 254-25, resolution authorizing leave of absence for Genesis Liu from April 25th, 2025 to July 21st, 2025. Resolution 256-25 is a resolution extending leave of absence for Leroy Montgomery from May 16th, 2025 to June 29th, 2025. Resolution 257-25 is a resolution authorizing recreation refund for park permit. Resolution 258-25 is a resolution authorizing the building department permit refund. Resolution 259-25 is a resolution authorizing raffle license. Resolution 260-25 is a resolution to endorse CDBG project application submitted to the Bergen County Division of Community Development for the Johnson Public Library. Resolution 261-25 is a resolution authorizing release of escrow funds for 70 Polyfly Road. Resolution 262-25 is a resolution authorizing release of performance and safety bonds, Midtown Bridge Lot C. Resolution 264-25 is a resolution authorizing the issuance of requests for qualifications for professional services to the City of Hackensack. Resolution 265-25 is a resolution revising the Mayor and Council Committee of the Whole regular 2025 meeting schedule. And Resolution 266-25 is a resolution authorizing the submittal of award extension request for LA 2023 MA Hackensack City Grand Avenue Pedestrian Safety Improvements Project to New Jersey Department of Transportation.
Okay.
We need a motion.
Motion to adopt the consent agenda as it was just read.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. So now we have 255-25.
Yep, hang on one second. Okay, so Resolution 255-25 is a resolution authorizing extension of leave of absence for Michael O'Neill, police officer, from May 10, 2025 to June 1st, 2025.
Can you need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Abstain.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Now we need Resolution 263-25.
Is a resolution authorizing the awarding of a co-op contract for the purchase of an upgrade package for the Hackensack Police Department's drone equipment.
Need a motion, I'm sorry, need a motion?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Abstain.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Okay, that was a lot. I apologize for my mix-up. Had a lot of paper I was trying to follow. So, need a motion to open to the public?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unopposed? Anybody from the public, please come up forward. You will have 3 minutes. Give your name to the clerk, please.
Ellen Nimchek, 214 Clinton Place, Hackensack. I just had a question regarding a 240-25. It has to do with Anderson Street. a resolution to award this to a construction company. It doesn't matter what company it is, but it's on Anderson Street. And I just wondered who's paying for that construction? Is it the city who's paying for that?
What's the
Which
resolution?
number
for
was
the
it again? I'm
contract-
sorry.
For the net 240? So you're
think
talking about the
it was
resolution
240-25.
authorizing award of contract. Stop the, all right, you stop the clock.
Mhm.
So there's a streetscape project planned for Anderson Street, and it's getting engineered by Neglia Engineering, and that would be, I don't know if that's directly from...
At 22525, there was a resolution, well, it was the final adoption of ordinance for bond, and that bond was a $1.5 million bond, of which we've received Department of Transportation grant money for 1.3 of that. So even... and
This
it- and
was
it-
later. This was later.
Yes, but this is just, the 240 is part of the streetscape
It's part
project.
of that.
Yes, yes.
Because,
So then, as we go through, then there'll be a spend plan on how that's going to be accomplished.
okay,
Jim, if
because
you have anything
two
to
big
add.
apartments have gone up on that floor, on
No,
that
this
street.
this is not, this is to do with adding the lighting. I think we were doing some pavements. Jim is here, the CFO. There was a number of improvements to this is actually to the entire street of Anderson, just like we did some work in the parks with these grants, trying to get Anderson Street, I think it was trash receptacles, a bunch of things, nothing to do with the developments on Anderson Street. These are general improvements to the Anderson Street itself.
No, it just makes me wonder why all of a sudden we're having these improvements, because these two big apartments are going up.
Not
And now
really-
suddenly there's interest in this street. And, now we're issuing bonds for this.
But we have grant money, I mean, we're getting 1.5 million.
But it said bonds also, right?
Yes, because the way it works, when you get a grant, all right, you only receive the monies when the work is done. So what we have to do is we have to bond for it until the work is done.
And then you'll receive
And
the
then we
money.
receive the 1.3. So we're getting $1.5 million worth of things done to Anderson Street. And really, it's only going to cost us a couple $100,000 to do that. And the reason is, we focused on streetscape for Main Street. Our intention is to move that throughout the city where there, where there are local businesses and where there's foot traffic. And we need to do some improvements, curbing, lighting, trash receptacles, plantings. So as we are making the project in streetscape, and the streetscape pretty much on Main Street is accomplished. So it was a natural extension because Anderson Street intersects Main Street, that would be our next area. And we'll
Are they gonna
continue to
be-
do that throughout.
Are there going to be trees and things like that? Because I'm concerned that the city is going to be paying for all of these trees and things like that might be on these apartment buildings, and why wouldn't they just do their
They
own?
pay for their own landscape.
Yeah,
I
as
just wanna-
part of the site plan approval for the buildings, there are streetscape requirements for trees, for street lighting, and that's all included in their cost. Actually, because of the age of the city and the age of some of our trees, we actually took $50,000 and put it aside in a fund just to replace trees throughout the city. So the Shade Tree Committee is responsible for going throughout the city and coming up with plans as to where we're going to be putting those trees. Some that were lost due to weather and some just decaying from age. So we actually took the first payment that we received from our retail cannabis store, which was $53,000, and we took that money and put it aside specifically to put more trees throughout the city. But the ones on Anderson Street that are relative to the buildings, they must do that in accordance with the plan for the city. They must
Okay,
supply the trees.
Yeah, it just seemed to me that all these apartment buildings that were put up, it seemed to me that they could have contributed more for trees and more for this landscaping
We're
and
going
having
back and forth
these
too much, so-
Yeah.
driveways coming in so that people can get off the street to make deliveries instead of our town having to pay for all
But
of this.
Again, all
with
of
this
this was
greenery.
included, every development has paid for those. Everything that's done to the street, anything that's done to driveways, everything has been paid for by the developer themselves. And that's all part of the site plan application, that they must pay for those things.
But would that help lessen our town requirement to have trees if they are doing
we
it? Because they
increased-
would have it on their property already, so then that should lessen what we need in the street.
Absolutely, but we've lost trees throughout the entire city, in residential areas throughout the entire city, due to aging and due to weather and storms, et cetera. And that's why we took money and put it aside, so we can certainly invest in restoring those trees, because we're
Well,
always
I
a
asked
beautiful tree
this,
city.
I asked this because that big white building, that big apartment building, I don't see anything there in the way of trees, nothing. It's like a big blob there, and I don't see anything that looks decent at all, and so that's why I'm questioning about this. Does nothing there except sit there like a huge, huge, I don't know what, bomb of a building. It's horrible looking. So
Which
that's
building are
why
you talking
I'm
about?
wondering,
On Anderson?
yeah, this white building.
So it's a new building, the trees have to grow, man, they don't plant
Well,
giant
there
trees.
doesn't even look on Anderson like there's any room for it. It looks like there's a bunch of nothing all along the
There
whole
will be-
middle of that
If there's not trees
street.
there will be trees planted, so we're not gonna go back forward, you have 30 seconds left.
Okay, but then that means then the city is going to have to be paying for that because they did not put it
Ma'am,
on their own
you're incorrect.
property.
You've already been told the developer pays for the trees. We're not supposed to go back and forth. You have 3 minutes to say your piece. We will answer it afterwards, all right? That's the way it's
well,
supposed to
anyways,
work.
I
Okay?
just had questions on that.
Thank you.
Good answers. I'm sorry. Philip Carroll, Coolidge Place, Hackensack. I have a lot to go over, and hopefully in the 3 minutes I can. So, Russo Development. How many residential units are going up at that property on the Sears? Does anybody know? And what is the percentage of low income? Numbers?
Answer at the end.
At the end.
At
No?
the end,
Okay.
Say, we want you to have your time,
Okay,
so say
you got it.
everything.
Where are we? Purchasing equipment for the DPW, we're spending $1.2 million. Just want to know where I can get the list of things that we're buying. Table of organization for the police department, want to know where I can find that. And then, Resolution 234.25, the positions, titles, salary ranges. Where can I get that? And who got those raises? And then, Johnson Park, the construction services. How much? And I see the company, but I just need to know how much. So I'm going to stop there.
Okay, I think your first one was about, I have a lot of
Go ahead.
notes, so I think your first one was about Sears property, which I think I'm pretty sure the redevelopment plan was a maximum of 325 units, but the plan currently is just about 300 units. That is an 11% pilot to start with escalators throughout. I think that was part of your question.
Yes.
Then, I may have them out of order, but I made notes. Okay, then you asked about the DPW purchases. We're buying 2 DPW pickup trucks. We have 1 sewer vac truck, but we're adding another one because rather than paying someone to come in with that, we found it to be much more cost-effective for us to do it ourselves.
Okay.
And then we're also purchasing 2 trailer-mounted stormwater pumps for when we have a requirement for an emergency to help offset flooding. So
Okay.
that totals up to those numbers. As far as the police department, we are changing the table of organization to go from 3 captains to 4 captains, so we're adding a captain. And we're keeping the number of lieutenants the same, and police officers, we're increasing from 80 to 85 officers. So that's the change.
Thank you for that.
That's the change there, of course. We continue to support our police always. And then the municipal class position title and salary ranges, this is something that is done annually, and what's done here is we've just settled a number of union contracts, and when that happens, our salary ordinances are current and reflective of what the actual expenditures of the city are for salaries, and it's part of our CFO's budget, making sure that everything conforms. So there were, I think, Jim, was it about 2% that we added? Our CFO's here. Salary, the average to the salary ordinance increase?
Well, no, the salary ordinance now just reflects everybody's salary now that all the contracts are set.
Correct. But, so we saw like I think to 2.75% increases in some of the recent contracts. Correct.
The most recent contract was the fire, and they were about 2.75.
We've usually run like 2 to 2.5% increases with the unions, but, you know, with the economy where it is, we've got, I thought you said, I think you said you were finished.
I'm well aware of the salary contracts between the fire, police.
So that's, and other unions, so that's what happened, that's what's in the
I'm
salary
talking about
ordinance.
non-union raises that just occurred for some of the people that are sitting here in this room today. Where can I get a copy of those raises that just
I'm gonna let
were just given out this week?
I'm going to let the CFO, is the salary ordinance online yet, Jim, or?
Sorry, it's in the salary ordinance itself is in the book, that's sitting up there.
Is that up to date for today?
The salary,
Yeah.
that's what we just adopted, it's the range.
Okay, I'm just,
Introduced.
I understand that there were raises made within the last week to several different positions within the city. Well, I know, that's what I'm asking. So I could just Oprah it, I can't get the information from Mr. Mangan. Do you understand the question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the raises that were,
Go ahead.
okay, the raises that were given this week were promotional increases. They weren't changes to the salary ordinance because the ordinance already had the increased salaries, okay? So if you want to know who got an increase and how much they got, you would need to Oprah that. The salary ordinance won't tell you that because the salary was already set, all right? It's just who got it, that's what's different. That's not in the ordinance. Okay, that help?
Not really, but
No.
thank you.
The ordinance gives you a title.
All I'm saying, all I'm saying is we have two meetings to go. And I understand that there were salary increases just created by the council for some municipal workers that are working right now. I just wanted to know what those raises were, not contractual, what the bonus raises were.
Let me answer that.
There's no
Come on.
bonus raises.
Real quick,
And
let's
the only reason I'm-
stop the clock right there.
The only reason I'm answering
This council
is-
does not give raises, all right? This is
Yeah,
not through
matter of
it's a
fact,
city
only
manager form
because,
of
the city
government. Let's not
manager's
get
not here.
convoluted and pollute this with the council's throwing money at people, all right? This is government. It went through the city manager. Whatever he did, he did.
City
You
manager's
know
not
more
here.
than us, because
Okay.
I don't know of any raises, so you actually.
But it's
know
an
more.
innuendo, and it's not fair.
There's a resolution on tonight where you appointed a new tax collector, because our tax collector is retiring on July 1.
Correct.
That's right.
Okay, so that person got a promotional increase. That created an opening for a deputy tax collector, all right? So the tax clerk then got a promotional increase to be the deputy tax collector. She got a promotional increase. That's it, there's no bonus, okay? There were promotional increases made that were due to a retirement, but there were no bonuses, that, you know, none that I'm aware of, and I do the
Looking
payroll,
like fools.
okay? I appreciate that, thank you.
Okay.
I just have a question, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think Phil asked one other part of that question that I don't think was answered.
I'm sorry if I
I think he asked how many affordable units
None.
were in that new building.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot.
I think
did.
so.
I thought I took the notes, but I missed that.
Yeah.
In the Sears building?
Yes.
Okay, the Sears building will make a contribution to the trust fund, which is 1.5% of the assessed value of that building, but they are not going to include any affordable housing within that building.
I just have a question. Again, been 9 years. Why are we always allowing people, developers, to put money into a fund rather than just simply asking for 10 to 20% as was asked? I don't know what's so difficult about that. To put 10 to 20% and out of all these buildings that we put in, not one. Is there something wrong with people who can't afford luxury apartments? That we can't put a few apartments in each of these buildings? That's a major issue. Everybody puts money into a fund. It's like they don't want to deal with people who make affordable salaries, and that's the majority of people in Hackensack. Thank you.
Thank you. Next person, please.
Good evening again. Still Cassine Gaines. So I just wanted to clarify some of the points because I understand the statement that was made that there was an innuendo or misrepresentation about the council giving out raises. There was an ordinance that was approved that did extend the range of salaries for people who were off contract. So while the council is not saying this particular employee gets this salary, the council is extending the maximum salary and allowing for the city manager to grant people salaries that exceed the 1 or 2% that was mentioned before. Some of those are, that you're shaking your head no, but it is correct. So some of those, not all of those, and not even the majority of them, but there are some that do exceed the 1 or 2% that are off guide, off contract salaries. And that is the question, and that was something that was approved tonight by this council. So I just want to clear that up. The other thing that I want to clear up, because I know there was a lot of confusion about this, I read on a number of flyers, some of them had my face on it, that there was $100 million in taxes that was brought in from downtown redevelopment. However, these are tax exemptions. We approved a tax exemption today, and for those of you that don't know what the word exempt means that you are circumventing, you are not paying taxes. I would think that that's something that we can all agree on, but as an English teacher, I just want to help out with that. The other thing I want to help out with is pilot, payment in lieu of taxes. That's instead of, that's not taxes. So that's a misrepresentation, that's an innuendo, as you said. But the biggest thing that I want to highlight is that when we're talking about school funding, it is 100% inaccurate to compare state aid to giving out pilots. Pilots are within your purview. That is not equivalent to the school system receiving state aid. The council is deciding to circumvent paying the school system. The school system shouldn't have to ask. They shouldn't have to come here with a tin cup and ask you for money. They should get their fair share because everyone should be paying their fair share. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let Jim just answer. Jim, would you just answer about the salary guide so we get this
Yeah, let
cleared
me just
up?
answer on the salary ordinance, because I wrote the salary ordinance. In the last 12 months, we do the salary ordinance annually. In the last 12 months, we've settled labor contracts with, most recently with firefighters, before that was fire officers, before that was white collar, and by extension are the non-contractual, and before that was the dispatchers, okay? So what the salary ordinance reflects is everybody's current salary as reflected in the labor contracts, okay? The white-collar employees received a 2.5% increase, okay? And then come January 1st, white-collar employees got a 2.5% increase, and by extension, non-contractual employees also got a 2.5% increase. That's what's in the salary ordinance, okay? So the maximum is the salary that everybody is receiving right now. Now, it's possible, because I wrote the ordinance, it's possible that I may have missed one, and there may be one of the 435 employees who may have a range that's slightly higher than their annual salary. I don't think I missed any because I looked it over a few times, okay? And if it was just an oversight. But the intention of the salary ordinance is to reflect everybody's salary as it exists today, okay? That's what it's supposed to be, okay? And I'm pretty sure it is. If you're aware of any, let me know, and we can always amend it, next time before adoption. It would be not a material change, so we wouldn't even have to reintroduce it. Okay?
If I could just make one comment, Mayor. I'm certainly not an English teacher, and it is certainly not my area of expertise. But if you look up the simple definition of tax, a tax is a mandatory payment or charge collected by local, state, and national governments from individuals or businesses to cover the costs of general government services, goods, and activities. And that's exactly what a pilot is. It's a mandatory payment or charge collected to support the general government services, goods, and activities. So I hate to disagree with an English teacher, but if you look up your definition, you're going to find that is the definition of a tax.
So, with that, and I just want to add to that, Mr. Gaines, you're not coming to the city with a tin cup. Every municipality across the state of New Jersey, and across the country probably, who doesn't have separate elections that call for a budget hearing and a referendum to pass a school budget, goes to their city and pretty much gets what they want. It's not, that's just the way, that's the way the system works. You give your budget, you bring it to Jim, he adds it to our budget, you add the county, and there's your city budget base, your city tax base from there. So we're not, it's not a tin cup situation. So there's a lot of, a lot of deception going on with, the use of the word pilot. It's nonsensical to think, I can't tell you how many times, these buildings aren't paying anything. I mean, that is, come on, guys.
They are paying taxes.
Okay.
By my definition,
Weren't
they're
paying
paying
anything
a
was
tax.
a lot of it, too.
Just look up any definition. I have 4 of them here I looked at. They all basically say the same thing. We're not going to argue back and forth. That's
Listen,
our
next.
turn to speak. Your turn to speak is when you come forward.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mr. Ziza.
Ken Ziza. So, wow, you really have been here a long time. I remember when Leo's wife was getting singled out for pay raises. Now his son's getting singled out for pay raises. That must be a real morale boost for the rest of the city employees who did not get a pay raise tonight. Good work.
And you are
I want to
talking
make it
about that?
clear, no, it's my time.
No back.
I want to make it clear that what I'm about to say does not apply to Councilman Carroll, who has more integrity in one pinky than the 4 of you have in your entire bodies collectively. I want to publicly commend the voters of Hackensack, who obviously paid attention to what has been going on in Hackensack for the past 12 years, and who decided to throw you out of office by the largest margin in the history of the Hackensack City Council elections. In fact, you're the first sitting mayor in 50 years to be thrown completely off the council in a re-election bid. Congratulations. The 2 words I heard most frequently about why masses voted against you were corruption and incompetence. But I think it goes deeper than that. I think it has a lot to do with personality. You are the meanest and nastiest group that has ever served on our city council. At times throughout your tenure, you have displayed racism, xenophobia, misogyny, and homophobia. And when you realized during this campaign that you were about to be thrown out of office, those traits came out, and you resorted to the dirtiest and most disgusting campaign literature ever distributed in a Hackensack City Council campaign. Did you really believe that making up crazy stuff about selling Fashini Park to developers and building 25-story buildings in residential neighborhoods and smearing casino gains and smearing my family would somehow make voters magically forget how bad you are? It was pathetic watching you flail about trying to cling to power when you couldn't even get volunteers to collect petition signatures for you. You had to pay people to do that. And when you ended your campaign so disgracefully, you confirmed to voters that they were making the right decision in directing you to the exit door of City Hall. Your legacy will be both having suffered the worst beatdown in Hackensack history and the stink that you leave behind as a result of your shameful conduct. I have the same 2 words for you that thousands of voters apparently had in their minds when they cast their ballots. Good riddance. On July 1st, let Hackensack's healing begin.
So, next person from the public, please. Seeing none, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, none opposed?
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming out. Just want to focus on some of the positive things earlier today. Want to start by congratulating Coach Cottrell, well, both Coach Cottrells, to establish a high school program in such a short amount of time and have so much success is very rare. But that success is definitely due to her compassion, her dedication to the sport. When I first started on the council, I remember Coach Cottrell approaching us about starting ways to support the crew team, and she, from the get-go, was just so passionate about it. And we appreciate her service. I just wish every coach in Hackensack was like her. Loves her sport, loves her athletes, and it shows because of their success. And I wish she could be a mentor for many coaches. Thank you to our wonderful clerks, Debbie, Allison, and Della. I don't know what we would do without you. Always a great support for us, always working behind the scenes, but most importantly, sharing a lot of laughs with us and keeping us grounded. We appreciate everything, and I'm definitely going to miss our conversations and laughs. Looking towards the end of the month, our Memorial Day ceremony, it's always a very nice ceremony, a moving time when a lot of our veterans in the city come out and spend some time together and remember those who have passed, and it's just a really nice time if anyone could get there. Just a reminder about the weather being nice. We have a lot of kids out there, a lot of pedestrians, a lot of people riding bikes, the e-scooters, and there's still just a lot of cars speeding. The other day I saw two cars blow a stop sign and just keep driving, and they're just driving way too fast. So hopefully increasing that enforcement and giving out a little bit more tickets, because I see it every day, and the more kids that are out there, it's a tragedy waiting to happen. That is it for me. Have a good night. Thanks everyone for coming out.
Oh, thanks, Steph. I agree. It was very exciting to hear about the success of the road team. You could just see on everyone's face how happy they were to be here and how eager they are to continue in their sport. Again, thanks to the coaches, both who are, if they're next door neighbors of John, they're across the street from me. So, lovely family, and they really found a sport that they were dedicated to and really loved and enjoyed. Of course, to the clerks, being Clerk Week, what would we do without you two? You keep us you have our schedules lined up, you get your dockets done well, and many other things aside from what you do for us, all that you do for the city. So, again, thank you to everyone involved. Girls and other young ladies that participate in the office as well. You have a great support system. Thanks to the Main Street Alliance for presenting a budget that's clear and shows buy-in from the businesses, the building owners downtown. I think Main Street never looked better. I think you're doing a great job, John. I think the support you have from the Main Street Alliance is helping you do a great job, and I think the support from the city as well. And we look forward to another great year with new things you have planned for what activities in Main Street throughout the city. Thanks to Jim, I think you did a great job. I know Finance Committee, I worked with you on keeping this budget as lean and mean as it could. Seeing a less than 1%, a 0.7% increase in the levy is great. And with considerations of things out of our control, health insurance, pension issues, it becomes a challenge every year, not just for the city of Hackensack, but for municipalities throughout the state. I look forward to hearing more from you about your presentation for next time, and I think that's great. I'll only say a few words, or try to only say a few words. Everyone knows that's difficult for me, but the schools, whatever the schools need, that request comes in, and that request is always, always accomplished. So there has never been a time during our 12 years together here in office that anything has ever been questioned. Whatever the schools need in their budget is always what is supplied to them. So I want to make sure that everyone understands that with full certainty. The amount of money that's received in the pilots, which was close to $10 million last year, and with our projections within the next 5 years, that $10 million will grow to almost $20 million. As Jim pointed out, if anyone was at the COW meeting, you can just look at the revenue page in the city, and you can see that that money is directly subtracted from the city's tax levy. And that has enabled the city to have, we had 3 years in a row prior to COVID, where we had a 0% increase on the city side. And that's difficult to maintain, but we have been able to keep that number under control by having that income coming into the city. And that was very important to stabilize taxes here. I know folks are saying that the schools are suffering because of this. The schools, again, they receive every penny that they ask for to support the schools. That has always been true, and as far as I know, will continue to be true. And if you just want to think about basic math, say that $10 million was taken off of the city's reduction of taxes, and it was put to the school. If they reduced their taxes by the $5 million, guess what? Would there be any change in taxes at all to the taxpayer? No, there wouldn't be. And if that $5 million that was given to the schools was spent by the schools, then there would be an increase in taxes. I'm sorry, this is not your turn to speak. So that is basic math, as simply as I can explain it to you all. I think that the vision here that this council has been able to accomplish, I'm very proud of our legacy. Some of you here may not feel that way, but we are also entitled to our opinion. Main Street never looked better. City finances never looked better, with a AA+ credit rating for when 12 years ago we were close to bankruptcy, with unpaid tax appeals that have all been paid off, of over $30 million that was in a box in a drawer for not complying and making those required payments. So where we are today financially, what our downtown looks like, what our Main Street Alliance has been able to provide, the parks that we've done, a brand-new M&M recreation building for our children that is second to none in Bergen County, the Performing Arts Theater, and all of the work in all of the parks. 179 streets, 179, Leo, he's my paving guy. 179 streets have been paved since our administration. So if you want to say we are not taking care of the residents and listening to the residents' concerns, I'm sorry, but I think that data and those facts support that we have been. And the sewer, of course, the sewer separation, I'm sorry. Yes, and you know, you want to talk about negative comments. Just one explanation, because I think it's worthwhile. There was some flyer sent out about debt, and I have my CFO here to back me up, that, you know, I explained before, I think there was someone here, I think the woman sitting in the back, that asked about why we're bonding, and I explained that we have to do that because we're getting grant money back. Just so everyone knows, we bonded for $96 million for sewer separation work. Of that $96 million, we are only paying $28 million back. So yes, that was a huge increase to the debt service numbers, if you want to look at numbers, and I'm a numbers person. That is how we're able to accomplish things. We have a good relationship with the DEP, with the EPA. We are one of 3 towns that still have combined sewers. We are the only one that has, the others have plans, we are the only one that is accomplishing it. And I'm sorry, Reverend Davis, to hear you're so unhappy when I think the work that's been done to alleviate those sewer issues, the quality of life issues of having raw sewage back up into people's homes, something that has been known to be occurring for the last 30, 40, maybe 50 years, has been addressed by this council and has been addressed without raising taxes, because we're bringing money in to support that. And that is the state's tool that it provides to cities that have these serious issues so they can fix them. And I and all of us sitting here are proud that we've been able to do that, and want to hope that you will continue to do that initiative when you take office. My only, no, you're not to speak now. You're not to speak now. My only feeling for this, I wish you all well. All I care for is the good of this city moving forward. I thank everyone who came out to vote, and I hope that you take some time to have a transition meeting with this team. Not that you need to do anything we say, not that you need to follow anything that we've done, but I think the understanding, and I personally would be very happy to sit down and just have you understand a little bit more about what happened here in the city, why we've done some of these things, and where it is, so that when you make your decisions going forward, you at least make them with the understanding of what happened. I think it will save you a lot of time and money to hear it from us for free, rather than have people dig through things and perhaps misunderstand or misrepresent them. When we came into office 12 years ago, we announced our transition team, and we worked closely, our transition team worked closely to learn things. I pray that you will do the same. I am offering myself, and I believe anyone that sits here, to make ourselves affordable to you folks to be able to achieve what you have planned to achieve. Thank you, everyone, for coming, and I'm sorry if I talked too long.
Well, congratulations to the rowing teams from the high school. You know, I used to do that myself when I was 14, 15 years old. And thank you, Jim. Thank you, John, you know, for all the work they have been doing in Main Street. And I think, like Jack Caesar used to say, he can put the head in the pillow when he goes to sleep. And I do the same. I think in the last 12 years, I think I contributed. I am proud of what we did, okay? And like Kenny used to say, Leo, don't get mad. This is only a game. Okay, I played the game. We've been here 12 years, and I think that we contributed to see a better city. Okay, so thank you for coming. Good night.
Jared?
I would like to thank the clerk's office and congratulations. You guys do a fantastic job. I would like to congratulate the Hackensack United team for running and winning a fair and competitive campaign. Now you must set your sights on running this great city of Hackensack. As you begin your journey, be honest, be transparent, and treat everyone equal, no matter what part of Hackensack they are from. Racism and or racial remarks have no place in Hackensack, especially in our city government. I would like to thank everyone who has attended this meeting, physically and remotely. Take care, get home safe, and God bless.
Thank you, Jared. So I especially want to thank Myrna and her daughter, Kira, the Hackensack crew team. That was a dream of somebody that came true in this city. I thought it was a lot of great work went into that, and it was they're quite successful, and I'm so happy that we acknowledge them tonight. Jim, thank you again for your budget work. You know your work as CFO, it's always spot on. Can't wait to see the PowerPoint that makes it easier for a lot of people to understand things.
Yeah, but I just found out I lost a week in the presentation.
No, yeah. So I just want to make a point on city money. Kathy made me think of it when she talked about the tax appeals, the 33 million we found when we came in. So let's break that. Let's just make it a flat number, $30 million. All right. So $30 million was paid back. Now that $30 million was paid as taxes. And let's just break it down to where the city's 45%, the schools are 45%, and the county's 10%. So the schools at that $30 million got 45% of that money. The county got 10% of that $30 million, $3 million. And the city got 45% of that money. But when it comes time for tax appeals, we don't go to the school or the county, give us your, our 10 million, give us the school 45%, give us 45% of this tax appeal. The city pays the whole thing back. That's a considerable lump sum. In other words, the schools would be paying close to $10 million of that $33 million, all right? But no, the city pays that. So that's, and does it matter? No, because it all comes out of the same pot at the end of the day. It's the city tax between the county, the school, and the city. So, we could go back and forth about who gets what money goes where, but at the end of the day, the taxpayers are paying no matter where it's coming from. There's one kitty here, guys. It's one big pie. So I just wanted to make that clear. Affordable housing. If you look it up, Hackensack is one of 3 municipalities in this county that meets their fair share housing obligation. All right? I'm proud of that. It took a lot of work to do it. And not only do we meet our fair share obligation, we now have it to the point where all the overlay zones that we created that include 10% affordable housing, which moving forward, this city will keep developing, hopefully. And these outlying areas, these overlay zones, have a requirement of 10%, right? And that will just increase the amount coming in. So our obligation will, I'm sure, always be met. And like I said, we are, on the other part of that is we're inclusionary. Or we're not inclusionary, we are preference just to Hackensack residents, all right? Hardly any communities in the state of New Jersey have residency preference for their affordable housing. You have to open up to 2 other counties besides the counties it's in. Hackensack could build 200 affordable units tomorrow. You may have 5 people from Hackensack living in there because we don't make that decision, all right? We don't get to make the decision who moves into those apartments. The state does, all right? It's Bergen County and 2 other counties, ma'am. That's a fact. Clerk's office, congratulations on Clerk's Week, Clerk's Month. You guys do a wonderful job. Anytime we call and ask, you're right there, and you answer back quickly. And I've seen you lose your voice. I can't tell you how many times, reading ordinance after ordinance and resolution after resolution. And even when you're not feeling well, you're doing it. So thank you and Ally and your team. And you've been nothing but professionals since we've known you. So thank you so much. Appreciate it. And with that, I need a motion to close.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. Everybody have a safe trip home. Thank you.